So, but again, the question is, we have to have the government threaten us to the level where we have to come in the streets, or can we do it of our own impetus? I certainly hope we don't have to have the government come at us again for this, but this was so inspiring to see hundreds of thousands of people hit the streets and say, we don't want to be invisible anymore. And by the way, you can't see it, the sub-headline, it wasn't captured there, said, rally is first political experience for most. Because we are sort of a politically naive group overall. Grassroots to grass tops. That is the theme for the conference. That's the next panel that we'll be bringing up here. I want to thank board member Dominic Holden. We were trying to come up with a theme, and Dominic definitely came up with this one. And it's crucial because if you think about it, we really are gotten to the point where we need everybody from grassroots, the people who get really here, and big problems sometimes just need little solutions. And so conscious living sometimes can lead also to conscious advocacy. So every time, starting April 1st of this past month here, when you go to the NORML web page, you're going to one of the first web pages on the internet that is 100% powered by wind turbos. Again, it's one of those things where it costs a little bit more, it does, but I thought, you know, if NORML can't make that statement, you know, if we can't go out there and use energy efficiently and well, I thought, hey, what the heck, it's a good investment, so that's what I will moderate for the rest of the day. This is probably the end of my formal remarks. I'm going to bring up the panel next. I'm going to introduce first the moderator of this particular panel. It's Dominic Holden. Dominic is a grassroots organizer since 1994, which means I think he's been doing it since he was 8 years old. And he is the co-director of the Seattle Hemp Festival from 98 through 04. He's the chair of Sensible Seattle Coalition and I-75. He's an organizer currently with the ACLU Washington State Marijuana Education Project. Ooh, I like that, education project. That's exactly what we were just talking about. He's a member of the Marijuana Policy Review Panel, which is a wonderful aspect of his work in Seattle. And thankfully and most blessedly, he's on NORML's board of directors. So, Dominic Holden.
Howard, thank you so much. I want to take a brief moment before I begin, actually, to invite all of our panelists to step up to the table here. And if I might ask whomever is coordinating these lovely visuals, that maybe we can pick them off for a little bit. Well, thank you for coming to the NORML Conference for 2006, and happy 420. As we are celebrating 420 here, there are people in their communities all over, not only the country, but the world, in fact, who are celebrating what truly is the marijuana smokers' holiday. We have gatherings, political, we have celebrations, and of course we have small private celebrations of this marijuana holiday. It's nice for us to be here today in San Francisco, which is really the heart and soul of the medical marijuana community, and in many ways the center of a lot of the focus for all of marijuana law reform efforts. Medical marijuana is something we'll talk about quite a bit over the next few days, and that is one component of a larger struggle to reform marijuana laws. And marijuana law reform is in fact part of an even bigger fight to reform drug laws, because we have a terrible drug war in this country that has negatively affected tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people every single year. And the drug war reform movement is in fact part of a greater movement still. A movement to end racism in this country. A movement to find equality for every single person in this country. And part of what this country was founded on, which is in fact a struggle for freedom. That we want to be more free, and that we want to have a union that is more perfect. And that is why we are here today fighting to reform marijuana laws and have a country that stops arresting marijuana smokers. So how do we stop arresting marijuana smokers? There's a saying many people have many people have known, many people have said. It says that we should think globally and that we should act locally. What does that mean for pot, or in this case, grass? We're saying today that it's grassroots to grass tops. Our job is to persuade a variety of different people. We must persuade our local progressive culture, our own people, our own choir. We must teach how to sing. We must persuade our politicians and our physicians. We must persuade our lawmakers and our bread bakers. We must persuade everyone. We have many different audiences, and for many different audiences, we must have many different messages. We must, in order to do that, have a lot of different work. We must have many different messengers, because different people will speak persuasively to different audiences. And so that is part of our strategy. We need grassroots organizing of those people who are affected. And we need grass tops organizing. And the grass tops are the institutional organizations. We need those people to speak to our lawmakers and speak to our economic systems and those who have the finances and influence to change these laws. And together, our efforts can in fact be greater than the sum of the parts. That we have the ability together to change much more than people working separately. That we actually, by communicating, have an even stronger movement. And Seattle, we believe, is an exemplary model for this. And we don't say that simply because we're from Seattle, but because we've been lucky and privileged to be part of something that is very special. In Seattle, we have the largest marijuana law reform gathering in the world, the Seattle Hemp Fest, which draws over 150,000 people a year. We have successful patients groups such as Lifeline Clinical Resources and the Green Cross that have been operating for years and taking care of their own and people who desperately need help when they're ill. We've had marches, we've had rallies, we've had lawyers who have come forward to defend our patients and lawyers who will collaborate together to make sure that patients are defended, that the precedents are upheld, that our medical marijuana law can remain intact. We have the Defender Associations of King County and of Washington State working in collaboration, not only to defend people who have been charged with drug crimes, but to forever end the war on drugs. We have the King County Bar Association that is working to end the war on drugs, and the ACLU of Washington. We are also lucky to have doctors, teachers, students, and local elected officials, such as our city and county council people and our state senators. We even have a marijuana policy review panel, which is a division of our city council, which oversees all marijuana enforcement in the city of Seattle. So to have a community that is so diverse, that is able to work together, this community must strategize together, and they must also be able to communicate with each other and resolve differences. And that is part of how a movement can stay cohesive. And we believe that it is not just a stroke of luck that brings this to Seattle, but also something that Seattle has actively sought to build. And we're here today because we believe that this can be built in communities across the United States. And as I speak here to the leaders of the marijuana law reform movement who work in their communities around the country, we believe that over the course of this panel, that we can share some insights so that this type of activity, this type of collaboration can be achieved in all of our communities. I'm going to introduce our panel, and please hold your applause to the end. First, we have Martin Martinez from Lifeline Clinical Resources. Next to him, from Washington Physicians for Social Responsibility, we have Sunil Agarwal. Next to him, Executive Director of the Seattle Hemp Fest, Mr. Vivian McPeak. We have the Senior Staff Attorney from the ACLU's Drug Law Reform Project, Alan Hopper. We have Director of the Marijuana Education Project, the ACLU, Allison Chin Holcomb. From the King County Bar Association's Drug Policy Project, Mr. Roger Goodman. And closest to me here, we have the President of the Seattle City Council, Mr. Nick Licata.
All right.
There are two people who unfortunately would be lovely to have on this panel with us today, but they're unable to be here. The first one is Andy Coe. Andy Coe founded the Drug Policy Reform Project for the ACLU of Washington.